今天你们每一个来这里的人是很重要的，因为国家有难，匹夫有责。政治家是应该为民为国，为什么？希望会留名千古，但是千千万万不要做到遗臭万年。人在做，天在看。你们的父母有教你们煮豆燃豆萁，豆在釜中饥，本是同根生，相煎何太急。All I did was just a Facebook share, without any comment, a share that was bad. And on my 61st birthday came the biggest scare. To fight not did I dare, but with each passing day, so many care. Asking for clear air, for what is right and fair. Freedom and speech are an inseparable pair. We so sadly hear is so rare. A badge of honor forced to wear, to oppression that we must tear. However long and hard the affair, the fear must go away everywhere, so that our children will never ever fear to go there. What good is it for a man to gain the whole world but to lose his soul? What good is it for a man to lose everything but to keep his dignity and his righteousness? I think the latter is better. Don't you think so? We should focus on the real issues. So what are the real issues? We are the only country in the world where the government does not spend any money from a cash flow perspective on pensions, public housing, and healthcare. In other words, the inflows every year exceed the outflows, meaning they are making money, they are not spending money. Your CPF is essentially your own money. You contribute 37% of your income. The inflows, the contributions to CPF exceed the withdrawals every year. How much of the returns derived from your CPF has been kept by the government all these decades since the CPF scheme started? Nobody knows. Where is the transparency? Where is the accountability? How much, in a sense, has your CPF, the difference between the interest that you get and the returns derived by the government, plus accrued interest over the last few decades? 200 billion? HDB, they tell you, oh, every year the more flats we sell, the more money we lose. What is the breakdown of the HDB flat price into construction costs and land costs? So many times it has been asked in the newspaper forum pages, in social media, even in parliament. Have answer or not? Don't have. Where is the transparency? Where is the accountability? All they have told us in parliament is that the land for HDB is charged to you at market rates. So, how many tens of billions has the government taken from Singaporeans from the HDB all these years? Focus on the real issues. Recently, you saw this funny story I read. Elderly goes to public hospital. The bill is 4,000 plus. MediShield Life pays $4 plus. This is the symptom of a healthcare model where the inflows exceed the outflows. Your MediSave contributions every year, plus the interest on all your MediSave balances, exceeds every year total government operating healthcare expenditure, plus all your withdrawals from MediSave for medical expenses and premiums. So in each of these three areas, the government is not spending any money on you. What other country can you find every 4 or 5 years, billions of budget surplus a year? You know, we are number one in the world for the highest budget surplus per capita in the world. In the last 10 years or so, the reported budget surplus is about $30 billion.
Where's the money?
And that's not all. If you look at the cash budget surplus, which they use IMF fiscal reporting guidelines, meaning some of what they charge every year as a lump sum transfer actually cannot be counted as a one-time expenditure. If you use the cash budget surplus, it's about 180 billion in the last 10 years. So poor thing, Singaporeans. All this money taken by the government in a sense. When the government has huge budget surpluses and they don't spend any money on CPF, HDB or healthcare, what does it mean? Focus on the real issues. You are the most taxed, least helped people in the world, arguably. Focus on the real issues. Why do we not have transparency on the job statistics? Why are the employment growth statistics not broken down into Singaporeans and PRs? They are lumped together, locals, residents, Singaporeans and PRs. Why cannot break down? Well, some years is said 1,000 employment growth, 10,000 employment growth, 20,000 employment growth. You know, 1 year, the employment growth was 1,000. But here's the problem. Every year, on the average, 30,000 new PRs are granted. 20,000 new citizens are granted. Now, when these people change the resident status to citizens or PRs, and they are working, automatically they add to the employment growth. So, if that year you have 1,000 employment growth of locals, and you have 30,000 PRs granted, and 20,000 citizens granted, and those who are working automatically change to become locals. How many of the 1,000 went to true blue Singaporeans? Nobody knows. Focus on the real issues. I will take this opportunity to thank the thousands of you who have sent me messages of support and encouragement. You know, when you are senior citizen at 65, all this helps a lot, right? Because cannot sleep at night while you read all these messages of support and encouragement, fall asleep very fast. Thank you very much. Our social welfare spending as a percentage of GDP is the lowest among all developed countries in the world. Professor Tommy Koh said recently, there are 150,000 households in abject poverty. There's about 500,000 people. You know, Mahatma Gandhi said, his mission in life is to wipe every tear from every eye, meaning to help the poor people. We must get the policies changed, because many of these policies are making the lives of Singaporean miserable. So many people are struggling, making ends meet. We must focus on the real issues. We must focus on the real issues. Thank you.